Hayden and I used to live right across the street from one another.
Now by Tyler Booker joining us, offensive lineman for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he's styling and profiling here as well, man. Looking good. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. And give me a little bit of detail behind the chain there.
The chain is really a family crest, and I designed that because I realized that people don't do family crests a lot anymore. And
yeah.
Some of the details of the chain, it says respect up top with the C and the T capitalized, symbolizing that I'm from Connecticut, and I want to always put Connecticut on a bigger platform whenever I have the chance. It says established.
Because there's a lot of SEC players from Connecticut, right?
I can name two off the top of my head. There's me, then there's Ellis Robinson, the #1 recruit that just went to Georgia. He plays cornerback.
There you go.
So we actually grew up down the street from one another. That's my little brother, and I can't wait to play him on September 28th.
Of course, then you went to IMG, right, to play your high school ball down there as well. All right, so talk about the differences. Obviously, everybody loves Coach Saban, and what he did is amazing, but now it's Kellen DeBoer, and you guys turned the page. What has that been like in the locker room, on the practice field, and stylistically from what you guys are doing?
It's been a very smooth transition. Us as players, we knew that we had to uphold the Alabama standard no matter who they brought in. Luckily enough for us, we brought in a coach who has a winning tradition, a standard of winning at everywhere that he's been. So to be able to play for a coach like that has been a really easy transition.
6'5", 352 pounds, and
30
you
now.
I was going to say, you look like you lost a little bit. You know,
yes,
I'm 352. Is that something did DeBoer say to you that when he came in and the new offensive staff and say, you know what, we need you just a little bit lighter? Or is that something you did yourself?
That's something I did myself just because I knew it wasn't sustainable to play years and years of football like I want to play at 350 pounds. So I had to come down off it. I feel a lot better now, and I can't wait to put the pads on, see how much faster I'm moving in.
Most offensive linemen I know want to put their hand in the dirt and roll off the ball and knock somebody off the ball a little bit. Is this offense, do you feel like you'll still have an opportunity to play that good old-fashioned Alabama smash-mouth football?
Oh, for sure. At the end of the day, this is still the SEC. We're still going to run the ball and be dominant at it.
Yeah, all right. That's good stuff. A leadership role, I would imagine, now along that line.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's got to be good. And how cool was it for Caden Proctor to come back? Did you guys bust his chops a little bit? Like, make like he's a new guy, make like he's a transfer or something, and
we
make him carry the gear or do something,
So we actually did. When the new guys introduced themselves, we started left to right and facing the meeting room. So he was on the left. I said, hey, man, stand up and introduce yourself. Nobody knows who you are. So he got up. He stood up. He said, hey, I'm Caden Proctor, this, that, the third. Everybody booed him, and then they clapped, obviously. We were just so glad to have him back. Everybody's glad to have him back. And he's been working, and he understands that he had to really gain our respect back because he did leave. But we're so glad to have him back, and he's definitely earned everybody.
He's got to pay the price a little bit. He's got to do something, you know what I mean? He walked out. He's got to, even though it was a minute.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
I like to call it him having a long spring break.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Say, hey, if you want to get out of working out with us, there's a lot of things you can do.
Abroad.
That's Tyler Booker. He's going to be one of the big-time leaders on this offensive line for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it's going to be tough, man, but go get him.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Tyler Booker. Good stuff right there. All right, we'll get a break in here, and we'll come back with more right after this. It's the Tom Abraham Show. We are live in Dallas right here on the Tom Abraham Show.
world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown and amuse you?
Well, the lunchtime whistle and the morning's finally done. I'm jumping in my car, I'm gonna have a little fun. The Doghouse Network's on my radio dial. Big Dog's taking care of business for a while. If you're listening to another station I don't understand, nobody does it like Tom Abraham. He's a northern-bred, southern-fed, slick-talking guy. Listeners in his posse are the Junkyard Dogs. The SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tigerland, nobody does it like Tom Abraham.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to SEC Media Day 3 in the Doghouse. I am Tom Abraham, and today is, without question, the biggest day of the event. It is so hectic here today. It's incredible as you look, 3 of the 4 coaches from last year's college football playoff are in the building, with Kalen DeBoer leading things off this morning. Steve Sarkisian is in the closer role later on today. And Nick Saban, of course, is here on the SEC Network desk. Apparently, they couldn't get Jim Harbaugh to come in here. But look, things are going to be – things got going this morning with an address from the new college football playoff director, retired Air Force General Rich Clark. And this dude is very impressive. His record of military service is outstanding. And before that, he was an excellent running back on the 1985 Air Force team that was a top 10 team in the country. I mean, it would have been a playoff team in this 12-team playoff. I mean, can you imagine that? A military academy in a playoff? Now, General Clark is coming up later on in this hour. Now, we're a little bit clunky today. We're going to be starting with a very short segment. And then we are going to come right back, and we're going to have Kalen DeBoer, who got things started with about a 10-minute opening before he took questions. There was a lot of coach speak in there. There was a lot of cliche in there for sure. There were some interesting things that he said, one of which was that 85 of his 123 guys on the roster have a 3.0 or higher GPA. I'd love to see the breakdown of that at some point in time. If like it's the 85 out of the 123 and 27 of them are guys that are, walk-ons. But the point is that 85 of his 123 have a 3.0 or higher GPA, and you win with smart players. So we have that coming up for you in full with his comments, and we will get that in here in just a few minutes. So we're going to break early. We're going to get Coach DeBoer in, and then we're going to have General Clark in. And then in hour number 2, we're going to hear from Billy Napier from the main media room live right at the top of hour number 2. And then we're going to be joined for a few moments on set by Tyler Booker, the outstanding offensive lineman from the Crimson Tide. All of that is coming up. The phone lines will be open. I promise we'll get them open at some point in time at 256-576-4977. In the meantime, you can text the show, 732-9TA-SHOW, and you can use that as a great way to communicate with us on a day like today. My X feed is at Tom Abraham Show. The Zone is on X at 97.7 ESPN, and go ahead and follow at ESPN Winchester as well. You can check out our YouTube channel, WZZN TV, and subscribe to that bad boy as well. Get the apps. You got to have the apps, all right? Including our Talk Radio WZZN app for all your Rocket City Trash Panda action. All right, we're going to get our break in here. When we come back, Kalen DeBoer opening the show today, and we'll have that right after this on the Tom Abraham Show.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, Invisicook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Springs showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezer's free and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cube, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is you need a new roof, not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day, Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at 5. Bingo every Monday night too, starting at 7. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Your Rocket City Trash Fans return to the All-Star break Tuesday, July 23rd for a 6-game homestand against the Chattanooga Lookouts. Promotions for the week include Christmas in July on the 25th, Friends Night on the 26th, and an appearance from Bluey on the 28th. Get your tickets for the homestand now at tptix.com.
Let's rock it!
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? It might be in a call center somewhere, maybe 100 miles away. But my phone rings in my office.
The Lackey Law Firm.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're here. We're the ones who take your call.
And get what you deserve.
You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And this is the most important part. We'll treat you like family, because that's exactly what we are.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll tell you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Every game matters as the Atlanta Braves keep battling in the East, and you won't want to miss a pitch.
3-2, that's hit very well to deep center field. That's heading back towards the batter's eye and way out of the ballpark.
Friday night, the Braves are back from the break, and Truist Park is open for business as Atlanta gears up for a weekend against the St. Louis Cardinals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
Abraham Show. Today's show brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, where thousands of area residents have received world-class care from the Valley's most trusted and experienced group of orthopedic surgeons and medical specialists. TOC services to Huntsville, Havoc, Alabama A&M, and most of the high schools in the region, with 13 locations throughout the Tennessee Valley. All right, things got started earlier today with Kalen DeBoer in the main media room. This is what the coach had to say.
All right, good morning. And it's great to see all of you and be here at SEC Media Days. Thank you, Commissioner, for the introduction. Appreciate all your leadership. That's probably the first thing I would say is just, in 6 quick months, I've had a chance to get a taste of the SEC, and whether it's Commissioner Sankey or all the coaches that are part of our great football conference. It's been awesome. Seeing the leadership, being a part of a bunch of people that want to change and continue to evolve the great game of football, as well as college athletics. So I want to thank all of you for being here. Appreciate all the support and all the coverage you give our programs, not just mine, but college football in general. So it's a great sport, and thanks for all the stories. We got so many great players. I got some here today that have amazing journeys that I know, we want those stories out there and be told. So speaking of, I got 3 great gentlemen, Jalen Milroe, our quarterback, Malachi Moore, our safety, and Tyler Booker, who I know you'll see throughout the day. These guys have just been special from the beginning. Probably 3 of the guys that when I really look at and all the craziness with transition and coming into the program myself, 3 of the guys that just never wavered from the beginning. And they just really believed in themselves. They believed in the program. They believed in our coaching staff as we continue to present and make the hires. But they just really have stayed steady. And because of their leadership, I feel, the culture's continued to grow. And we had a great winter, great spring, and really looking forward to the season that lies ahead. It's been 6 months, 6 months in Tuscaloosa. It's been extremely welcoming to come into the community. Of course, I love their football and the athletics and as a whole. Just being welcomed, my family and I, it's been special. It's made the transition easy for myself. And then also, I just want to say that, in the transition, I can't thank our president, Dr. Bell, as well as our AD, Greg Byrne, enough for just their support and everything that they've done to help, acclimate me and our staff and just do the things that we need to do to hit the ground running. It takes a village, and, Greg did a great job hiring an athletic department full of staff, whether it's administrative or other head coaches, who've just been a pleasure to come to the work, in the department and bring the energy. I was fortunate enough to pretty much show up and within a month or so get a chance to support Nate Oates and our basketball team making a Final Four run, and not long after that, our softball team making a trip to the College World Series, Women's College World Series, and other great, teams and the department as a whole is in such a great place because of Greg's leadership. When it comes to just our staff, I couldn't be more proud of just how far we've come just in a short amount of time. The belief and trust in our team starts with these guys, and it's not just the on-the-field staff, it's the off-the-field staff. And meshing a staff where we retained many that were super critical, whether it's strength and conditioning with David Ballou, our training staff with Jeff Allen, and other departments as well. The meshing of our staff with those that we retained and those that I brought in with me. It's been awesome, feeling the energy, feeling the excitement. Every day I walk in the building, it's such a pleasure to go to work with these people. They're beyond motivated. They're driven to be great, driven to uphold the great standard of Alabama football. we have a lot of work ahead, and I know when it comes to our team, we had a great spring. I think they felt that as well. We were able to retain pretty much the entire roster. We did lose 2 guys to the portal, but overall, between the winter and the spring, we've picked up 14 and guys that I think, they don't just add depth to our program, they come in and make a difference, and they add to the guys that have continued to develop and grow within our program. Looking forward to hitting the field 2 weeks from today at this very time. We'll be in practice, which is exciting. I love being on the grass with the guys. I love being out there working with them. It's what it's all about. It's why we do what we do as coaches, and really looking forward to that. So, they understand that there was a gap that needed to be closed early on. And I say that because anytime you institute and you're incorporating new strategies, whether it's offensively, defensively, special teams, along with just getting to know and building new relationships, there's a gap that you have to close because the programs that are continue to hit the ground running, continuing to kind of add to what they've done in the past because of their familiarity. They're in a place, and now I think we've closed that gap, and now the whole thing is focusing on separating ourselves. And this summer, just the focus, the commitment. I think if you asked our guys what they appreciate about each other right now is that they come in with a competitive mindset every single day, and I can see it. They have high goals and aspirations, but the actions support those goals that they each have. So they do it on the field, they do it off the field. I think they're just well-rounded team, a group of guys, academically, even in the spring, a 3.2 GPA. We had over 85. We had 85 of the 123 guys on our team have a 3.0 or higher. It just goes to show the focus and what type of people and players we have in our program. We returned, it just depends on how you look at it, 5 starters on offense, 5 starters on defense, a couple specialists, and those guys are going to be certainly counted on. I think we brought in some players to help add to, again, not just the depth, but also to build and have an elite level of starters on the football field for us when August 31st comes around. I think their mindset of just going 1-0 and winning the day is something that I preach to them, and they've taken on that challenge. They show up, put in the extra work. They try to, they understand that everyone's doing the same things. You just got to do it better and do it more often than those that we're going to be competing against throughout the season. Before I open up for questions, I do just want to say, I know I haven't seen Coach around here, but I do want to, first of all, congratulate Coach. I thought it was really cool winning the SB the other night, and got a chance to finally, it seemed like every time I got a chance to see the speech, it was just a little blurb. Got to see the whole thing, and just like always, there's something that we've always taken from those speeches, well-deserved with that honor. And then personally, and from, I think on behalf of everyone with Alabama football and the University of Alabama, we appreciate everything Coach has done to, make this foundation strong to where we can continue to build on it, continue to help, those that are supportive of our program proud, and just appreciate all those years and hard work that's been put into this. And so,
thank you, Coach. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring a microphone to you, Grant, Kylie, or Edley. Please state your name and affiliation if you have a question. We're going to start right here in the center, Grant, right here in the center. That's right, center section.
Here's DeVore. Emily Grace McWhorter from The Next Round. Throughout this week, other SEC quarterbacks have had a chance to talk about your quarterback in Jalen Milroe. And the consensus has been he's just a great guy on and off the field, and he has a great smile. For you, how does that impact you coaching this offense and this team to have someone that translates so well in the locker room?
Well, I think that's something that you see with Jalen, right? Is what he is, and I can just look back last week, a moment with our team, and not to get into the details, but him standing up and speaking out and, positive positive, but also accountability, and that mix of everything that great leaders do, and building up their teammates, but also just reminding them of what it's going to take for us to reach the goals that we have. He does a great job of balancing that. I think he's grown in a lot of ways when it comes to that area. But then obviously we got to talk about what he does on the football field, and he's got a skill set that is special. He can, with his arm, make you pay, and he can make the throws. And I think he's continued to grow in that area, building confidence in himself, just tirelessly working with the receiving core, actually all the skill players to be on the same page. I think he's continued to expand on his game with the different throws he can make. Down the field, he's been strong. A year ago, he was one of the best in the country with downfield throws. I think he's continued to work on those higher percentage throws that you need to have to move the chains and all of that. But he dives into it, and there's no one that's going to beat him into the football facility from a player's vantage point. He's there 4:30, 5 o'clock for sure, every single day. And I know there's guys that have tried to beat him into the facility and they can't. But when he's there, it isn't just punching in the clock. He's done a great job, being efficient, doing everything he can, whether it's mentally, physically, to be ready for this fall.
Coach, we're going to go over to our right-hand side. Over to the right.
Over here. Shahan J. from CBS Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, thank you.
So you brought a player here in Malachi Moore who has been kind of through everything since being on campus since 2020. How do you benefit from having this group of leaders that have been at Alabama, and how do you integrate some of the guys, for example, that you brought from Washington who know what you do?
Yeah, guys like Malachi, Jalen, Book, these guys are all guys that, of course, can get here today. But, they all understand, and Malachi, since you specifically brought up him, they understand what it's looked like. They understand what it takes. And it isn't just what it looks like and it needs to be done in the fall. This is the time where you build your team. And that work that they're putting in each and every day, a guy like Malachi is front and center. And I guess, I just think about, Malachi and very similar to Jalen. They love the game. They love the work that is associated with the game. And he brings a smile to it. He's determined. He's a beast on the football field, and he hits you with everything he's got. And he's helping grow a secondary around him that's got some youth. And he's taken that and put it on his shoulders. And I think he's excited about that. He knows he's one of the faces of the program, and takes that responsibility in a strong way. But I think when you look at just people in general and how it all comes together with different transfers coming from different places. Obviously you look at the talent, right? But we have great kids, I shouldn't call them kids, great young men that have come into our program. And you alluded to the Washington players, the 4 of them that have come in. These are just standouts, not just on the football field, but just high-end character guys. They knew that they had to adapt to the things that Alabama represents and the football program. And I think I couldn't be more, because I did have a relationship with them, obviously, before coming here. I couldn't be more proud of the way they've approached everything, and now stepping up as leaders themselves.
Which will go in the section right in front of me on the far out.
Good morning, Coach. Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama. You talked about Malachi Moore, but for Deontay Mawson, other guys that are in-state players from the state of Alabama, what did they teach you and show you when you first arrived about the standard and what it means to play to that and even coach to it?
Yeah, I actually took notes, and I still am taking notes, right? These guys have been here longer than I have. And, sometimes, we use the saying, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm just trying to take it all in. And we want to do things, of course, I want to do things the way I've done them in some aspects, but embracing what is important to this program, the traditions that have happened over many years. But I think just when it really comes down to this team, it's about the work that we're doing right now and listening to them and hearing them out. I think that's the best thing you can do when you come in as a new coach, is kind of meet them in the middle, and we've worked together, and they understand that I want this team to be a team that ultimately is player led. Now, what does that mean? We've talked a lot about that. I'm going to provide the framework and the parameters and a lot of the organization that I feel has worked for me over many years. But, I also want them to have that buy-in and understand the why, not just what.
Hey, we'll stay in that same section in the center, Kirk.
Kirk Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. Kaden, I wonder how many coaches, friends, family told you it wasn't smart to follow a legend, and how much that entered into your thinking before you accepted?
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Understand, there's only one Coach Saban. There will only ever be one Coach Saban, and this program is special, and I guess I just take it as a great honor to be the one that gets to do everything we can to carry on the great tradition. So much blood, sweat, and tears, whether it's the players and the alumni that have been in this program, or coaches, and obviously referring to Coach Saban, so much is put into this place. We all have alma maters, right? We all have places that we have great pride in, and you always want that to be home, and we always want to make those people proud of their alma mater and the work that's been put in to set this program up for success. But for me personally, it was just more about just understanding that, coaching football is coaching football to some aspect, and you got to try to simplify it down as difficult and complicated as you can make it. I've done this for enough years and seen what good culture looks like, and maybe even what a culture that needs to improve on looks like. And it's been just an awesome blessing to be a part of this program, to continue to have that expectation on us. The alternative is to be at places where there aren't expectations. And, at some point there's been places where maybe a little bit of that has happened throughout my career. And this is a great place to be. I'm very blessed, very honored, and certainly acknowledge what you said. But we're just going to focus on this team and being the best we can be, and continue to build on the great tradition of Alabama football.
Coach, we're going to go to our right on the very front row, just in the section in front of you to the right.
Yeah, Coach, Brooks Austin with Dogs Daily. I think when you first got hired, one of the first questions was, how well will he be able to recruit in the Southeast? I think we've gotten a pretty immediate answer on that one. I'm curious what your thought processes are on how you define a great recruiter, and what your general thought processes are on player acquisition as a whole.
Yeah, I knew the intensity level that existed here in the SEC, and I think across college football it's just so competitive. But understand that it certainly is different, and I knew it was important for me to put the right people around me. As much as I can preach relationships and getting to know guys and feel like there's a way that I can get guys to feel that this is a program they want to be a part of. I understand that there's got to be familiarity with the region. There's got to be some familiarity with coaches to be able to get started and get off to a fast jump there, especially in these early months, because you're behind when you come in and it's the middle of January and you haven't even put a staff together, and all of a sudden it's the end of January and you got a week or two to hit the road. And it's the last time you can be on the road other than a little time in May, and by that time the official visits are all set up for June. We were behind, and so I had to have a staff that would work well together. I think it's all hands on deck with our staff. Those within the building would feel that, just kind of sharing that it's a team effort, but we also certainly have some guys and staff on the field and off the field that just work relentlessly, every single day, just to build those relationships, to help us get guys to campus. And I think that's when we're at our best, because the culture of our team, as we have that energy within the building, when prospects do come onto campus, they see that this is something they want to be a part of. And so all that together has led to a lot of success here early on. Obviously it's an everyday thing, and so it never stops. But we certainly understand that, having the right guys in our program is all going to make us better coaches in a lot of ways.
Okay, we'll go in the center aisle, just straight ahead.
Yeah, Coach DeBoer, Drew DeArmond, WCCN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. Now that analysts can coach on the field in practice and in games, how big an addition is it for Chuck Morrill to be a part of the staff who helped you have a lot of on-field success defensively at Washington?
Yeah, no question. Chuck Morrill and I, we go back. We were actually teammates together and spent 10 years together at the University of Sioux Falls. He was the defense coordinator. I was the offensive coordinator starting out. Our relationship, when it comes to just how close we are, just the trust we have in each other. He's a guy that's just as loyal as it gets. Did a great job for us at Washington the last 2 years, and coming in, he and Kane Womack have just really worked so well together. I know the role has been as an analyst and a coordinator. We have other members that are on the on-field staff that are critical to our scheme and development and growth of our defensive side of the ball. But just another great voice, a guy that knows ball inside and out. And I'll put him up there as one of the best. If he was a coordinator, when he was a coordinator last year, the best in the country. And to have that luxury now with so many great coaches in our program, it's an awesome thing.
Which will go straight in front of me, middle section, third row. Barry.
Yeah, Caleb, Barry Trammell with the Tulsa World. Related to the recruiting question, the only hole in your resume is you've never coached south of Carbondale, Illinois. What's it been like adjusting to the culture change? Or maybe there's not a culture change. Maybe it's Sioux Falls South. I don't know. But what have you had to do to adjust to a new region of the country, new culture, football culture, Southern culture, all those things?
I've sweat a lot more. It's hot, I think first of all and foremost, I think people are always what make places, right? And I've lived in a lot of different places around the country, from the Northwest to over by Detroit and the Midwest and South Dakota to Fresno, California, and obviously Carbondale, and now here in Tuscaloosa. And I think people are always what make the place. And there are just so many great people in Tuscaloosa, and obviously they're passionate about their football. It's really made this transition smooth and enjoyable. It probably is, with close to being the place that reminds me the most of, honestly, being back in South Dakota. The people, not necessarily, is somewhat, I guess, just the geography. There's no coastline, I guess, up in South Dakota, but there's a lot of just great things that are similar to what feels like home.
We'll go over to our far right, over to the right in the front row.
Coach, good morning. Ken Capps from Football Writers Association of America. And first of all, congratulations on winning the Football Writers 2023 Coach of the Year Award. We enjoyed giving that to you down in Houston last year before the Sugar Bowl. And of course, then a few weeks later, you're down in Alabama. In the last 6 months, what has surprised you about going to Alabama and Tuscaloosa, and anything that you didn't anticipate that you've seen since you've been down there?
I think I should never be surprised at the things that great programs do and have, and the culture that exists. But what really has been awesome to see, and again, this isn't necessarily a surprise, but it's been awesome just to see our guys be completely 100% focused on the main things, and their chemistry and their trust and belief is one thing, but I think and the accountability as well. But I think that the way they respect each other, you could see it in spring ball. And as much as I try to do a great job of laying out the tempos of practice and how we need to be aggressive and play the game the way it needs to be played, but also, hey, we got to protect each other. We need each other. I know I needed to say those things. I wanted to say those things, and it's important to me. But I think they understood that. And that's, again, a credit to Coach Saban and everyone that's coached in the program before. And the culture that existed even before I got here. But these guys, they know they need each other to reach the goals that we have as a program. And then I think they also really respect the goals that they have each individually of, whether it's being the greatest college football player you can be, or, moving on and putting yourself in a good spot to move on to the NFL. And so, again, not a surprise, but something that just I have a lot of appreciation for. And it was an awesome spring. And I really think that all 15 practices, we maximized and got the most out of all 15 of those from start to finish.
We have time for a couple more. We'll start over here in front of you to the right, in the middle section.
Coach Rob Brown, SEC Sidelines Sports Network in Memphis. First off, I'll say we've hunted for years in Chamberlain, and Iroquois, and Kimball, South Dakota. Every one of those people up there were SEC. They knew the SEC very well. They love college football. How much is your background in D2, D3, driving the bus and doing everything from the ground up? The guy you're replacing, Nick Saban, talks so fondly about the work ethic he learned up in Monongahela, West Virginia with his dad. Talk about who you are and how that made you what you are.
Yeah, I love how the stories get better and better of all the responsibilities I had. I did not drive the bus, but that's what the stories and the legends will be down the road, right? And so I think I know this. I would not trade my journey for anything. It gives me an appreciation for where I'm at. It gives me an appreciation for the people I have around me and all the jobs that they have, because there was a time where you weren't driving I wasn't driving the bus, but I was, working with equipment and doing things in the locker room, pretty much a GA, an offensive coordinator, and a head coach all at the same time. And so I think there's again, just an appreciation I have for everyone when you have the support systems that you have at this level. And I understand their roles and how important and valuable they are and making them feel a part of it. It allows me to really focus on things I really love to do, and that's build these relationships with these guys and dive into the football and coach these guys up and help them be the best they can be. And there's just a little bit more in those areas that I get to focus on. So yeah, it's a work ethic related thing as well, but it's an appreciation piece as much as anything.
We'll take one final question in the section in front of me on that.
Connor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Kalen, I think it's pretty well documented how different you and Nick are, but what's the area that you think that you two are the most similar?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard it from our guys. I know Coach Saban just poured into these guys. He loved them and believed in them. I mean, he pushed them to be their best. And I think you always look at, every coach is different, right? We all have different personalities. We all go, have our styles, and especially when you've been doing it for a while, in this profession, you kind of have the things that you really like to do and favor. But in the end, the most important things, I think a lot of those are probably pretty similar more than they're different. Pouring into the guys and helping them and pushing them to be their best, holding them accountable and expecting a high level of discipline, while also trying to build a brotherhood and a family that exists through great team chemistry to be great on the football field when it matters most.
Coach, thank you for your time this morning.
Awesome. Thank you. Roll Tide.
All right, there you go. That was Moore in his first time out at SEC Media Days. All right, we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, one of the most impressive men that I've met in a long time, Rich Clark, is going to join us. He is the new executive director of the College Football Playoff. He'll join us here live on set in about 4 minutes. It's the Tom Abraham Show live from Dallas.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Volpe. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Embark on a flavorful journey at the Brewers Cooperative. Located within the vibrant community hub of Stovehouse in Huntsville, our brewery isn't just about crafting exceptional beers. It's a destination where culinary delights and local brews harmonize. Whether you're seeking a laid-back lunch or a lively dinner with friends, our diverse menu has something to please every palate. With a commitment to quality and a passion for innovation, we invite you to savor the unique flavors of Huntsville's craft beer scene at the Brewers Cooperative. Call 256-678-7036. The Brewers Cooperative.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat, and that's going to be to your benefit too when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of 12 world-famous theme parks, Orlando, Florida. With flights starting as low as just $49, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Orlando. Make all their dreams come true. Nonstop to Orlando now at flybreeze.com.
Every game matters as the Atlanta Braves keep battling in the East, and you won't want to miss a pitch.
3-2, that's hit very well to deep center field. That's heading back towards the batter's eye and way out of the ballpark.
Friday night, the Braves are back from the break, and Truist Park is open for business as Atlanta gears up for a weekend against the St. Louis Cardinals. Braves Radio goes on the air at 6:05 Eastern, 5:05 Central on the Braves Radio Network.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-90s. Isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms are again going to be possible across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. It looks like a cold front is going to move through the area as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. During that time frame, we could get some isolated, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms. That activity is going to stick with us through Thursday afternoon. It is going to be much cooler on Thursday. Temperatures only climbing into the mid and upper 80s, dropping into the mid-60s as we head into the overnight. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. That's an award-winning service department at Woody Anderson Ford. They can take care of your vehicle, your Ford, or your other brand and keep them in perfect working order. And you know what? If you have a bigger problem, their expert service technicians will quickly diagnose it and use state-of-the-art tools to resolve it. Services include preventative maintenance checks on belts, hoses, fluids, plus air conditioner, brake, and transmission repair. And they have a mobile service for you as well at Woody Anderson Ford, and they can do oil changes, tire rotations, part replacements, all of that stuff, things like windshield wipers and lights and so on. And if you're only available on the weekend or the evening, then there's the Quick Lane service department to take care of you as well. That's your one-stop shop for brakes, tires, and batteries. And no matter the service your Ford needs, Woody Anderson ensures quick, professional, and exceptional service. All right, we are anticipating Rich Clark joining us. General Rich Clark joining us. He is the new executive director of the college football playoff, taking over for Bill Hancock. And he is a fascinating guy, but he's also lost somewhere. I mean, and this is the way it works here at SEC Media Days in Dallas, where we're broadcasting all week from, is that these guys get hung up. They all have handlers, and they put you on the schedule at a precise time. And it's always dangerous when you get somebody in the last 15 minutes of the hour, because then you're going to be going to the top of the hour, and you got to be cognizant of the top of the hour. So if they're not there precisely at 12:45 or whatever, then it gets you messed up a little bit. But we've told you all week long that we got to stay loose. And that's exactly what we're doing, is staying loose. So we're going to keep you posted on that. And we let the folks know that are listening up at WCDT at ESPN 1040 and 1039, or 1340 and 1069. We let you guys know that we may go over the top of the hour. So if your top of the hour break is going to fire, just hang on to that bad boy, because we may end up leaking over the top of the hour once we get Rich Clark down here. And he should be joining us here hopefully momentarily. This guy, he retired as a lieutenant general in the Air Force. I mean, he should be on the Chiefs. He should be on like the, what do they call it? The staff, the chief of staff or something like that in the, in the White House. I mean, that's what he should be doing. But he also played for the U.S. Air Force Academy. He was a 4-year letter winner there as a defensive lineman on the football team in 1985. They finished the senior season with a 12-1 record. They beat Texas in the Blue Bonnet Bowl. They were a top 10 team. They were number 8 in the AP and number 5 in the Coaches Bowl. And the Air Force would have been in the playoff if we had a 12-team playoff. But this guy, he has logged 4,200 hours in the air, with the Air Force, and 400 of those hours were running combat missions. I mean, that's a lot. He's a big fan of the B-1 bomber, which he flew quite a bit, and he did flyovers. He said anytime that they were asking for volunteers to do a flyover over a stadium, he would be reaching out and sticking his hand in the air and say, "Hey, I want to do that. I'm good. I'm in." And that's exactly what he would do. So he'll be joining us. I'm sure he's going to be joining us here in just a few minutes, but again, getting held up a little bit. Now, Greg Sankey will join us tomorrow at 12:45. We always have the commissioner of the SEC on the final day, and he was originally scheduled for 12:25, and they moved him to 12:45, and so we'll have Greg Sankey tomorrow. But I'm looking right down the aisle right now, and General Clark is on his way to our broadcast location, so he'll be joining us here in just a moment, and we can get his thoughts on where we're going here with the 12-team playoff and what will be happening next. I got to make sure I'm handing him the right headsets. Oh, you got it, John? All right, John's got the headset over there to hand him. And he joins us now. Look, I'm going to have a real hard time with this. I was a college football coach for years, and coach, they start calling you coach, and they don't stop. You guys never stop calling you coach. I'm going to have a hard time not calling you General Clark because you're General Clark, man.
Well, I am, but I'm retired now, and I'm trying to make that
You're
transition.
retired General Clark.
Yeah. So, but Rich is really fine and preferred Tom, but I don't want you to be uncomfortable, but Rich is good.
Okay, Rich.
No offense taken. I appreciate it.
All right, man. I sit there and I was just kind of running down your record a little bit with the Air Force. And I'm saying, why you were running the college football playoff? Shouldn't you be working in the White House or something? Chiefs of staff or something? I mean, you should be doing.
I would much rather be here. College football. I tell people, I get up in the morning and I'd be thinking about war. How are we getting ready for that next conflict? I hope it never comes, but we got to get ready for it. And when it does, it'll be like the worst days in America if it happens, But I had to get ready for that. Now, I think about football every morning, and it's a day that is going to come when the playoff hits, and it's going to be among the best days in America. It's going to be so good. I like this path much better. So,
are you going to fly a B-1 bomber over the Mercedes-Benz Stadium for the first college football playoff championship game with the 12 team?
I would if they let me. Like I said, I'm retired now.
It's like riding a bike, though, right? I mean, you can fly that thing.
I can do it.
You can jump in there and fly that thing right now.
They just won't let me. That's all.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it's fascinating times. A great time, for the transition from Bill Hancock had done a tremendous job.
Yes.
There was no doubt about it. There were always a lot of questions dealing with the 4 and how we would get to the 4 and so on. And it was tough. But now going to 12, it feels like there'll be no question. You know what I mean? In terms of access, it feels like we're going to get a champion that we know is a champion.
Right. I agree with that. You're now deciding the champion on the field. It's not. It's less out of the hands of the committee. It happens by the players, the coaches on the field. However, there's always going to be some controversy, right?
Yeah.
Now, number 13, 14, 15 are going to be, they're going to be great teams.
Yeah.
And they're going to not make it because we only have room for 12. You're going to have 5 conference champions that are going to get in. There's going to be some that are going to get left out. That's going to be an issue. 4 of them are going to get a bye. Who gets the bye? So there's several tiers of controversy that's there. But really, the committee has to make their decisions. They're going to rank these teams unbiased, 1 to 25, and then they'll fall into place in the bracket.
What if that 5th conference champion isn't in the top 25? It could happen. I mean, we've had some at 22, 23, 24, and you're knocking out number 10, that type of thing because of access. But they're okay with that, right? I mean, this is something where we're going to be okay with this.
So that 5th conference champion, if they're not in the top 12, then they will move up to number 12. If they're in the top 12, they'll be seated wherever they're ranked. But if they're not in the top 12, wherever they are, they're going to be moved into the number 12 spot.
We're going to be on campus to get things started with this deal. The first 4 games will be on campus, and it opens up some incredible potential scenarios because you could have northern teams hosting, in mid-December, and you could have a team from the Dirty South heading up to Michigan, or something like that. I mean, there's going to be some fascinating matchups, I think, early on.
I agree, and that's where those 5 through 8. That's another one of those break points, right? Teams 5, 6, 7, and 8 get the home field advantage for that first round. So being in that tier is going to be really important, and then you get home field advantage. That's what it's about, right? If you deal with the weather that you're used to, and that visiting team has to come into your house and fight it out. So, but those games I think are going to be so exciting, electric on campus. People are going to be fired up. For some schools, it'll be the biggest game they ever had.
Talk about the financial implications of those games, though, because I know some people have said, man, I'd rather be 5 than 4 because I get a home game and the millions and millions of dollars and everything else. But my understanding is that, yes, you're hosting the game, but that money is in the college football playoff. It's not like those 4 schools necessarily make 100% of the ticket revenue and everything else, right?
That's right. And it goes into the playoff, and all the conferences then share in the overall revenue that's generated. However, those teams that get in do get they get a certain amount of compensation. So,
and they keep their own concession money, parking, things like that. I would imagine
there's a lot of other revenue that they will get just from having it at their home field. But it's going to be amazing for those schools that earn that honor. It's going to be incredible for their institutions.
How much coordination, Rich Clark? General Rich Clark.
Rich Clark, come on.
Rich Clark with us here. He's the executive director of the College Football Playoff. How much communication and consideration with the bowl people, because you're taking you got some teams that'll double dip in the bowls, you got other teams you kind of pulled out of the bowl system, if you will, with these first 4 games. And I know all the guys like me that sit there with a pen in their hand and create talking points, look at, well, what if they just used the bowl? What if those were bowl games, those early games were at some of the minor bowls and so on? So how much coordination do you have with the bowls?
Well, we work very closely with them. They are big partners. The New Year's Six Bowls, obviously, they get the quarterfinals and the semis. But the commissioners really thought it was important to have that first round at the stadiums, partially for the honor of having a home game, but also so the fans don't get fatigued, right?
Right.
If you have a team that plays in that round, and let's say they go the distance, right? They go all the way up. You got fans that are now traveling to 4 different games. Whereas if you have that first game on campus, they're at home, right? And they come and you don't get that fan fatigue, right?
But you got 15 million people watching the thing on TV. I don't want to be that guy. We're an Alabama affiliate, so I'll use Alabama as an example.
Okay.
There's Alabama fans all over the country. And
Right.
so what? You go to this bowl game, I don't think it's like the same 70,000 people are going to all 4 games. They're going to be 70,000 people that go. They'll show up in California. They'll show up if you're playing at Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, wherever. I don't think there's a lot of people saying, well, now I got to go to 3 bowl games or something along those lines, including the national championship.
Well, they might be.
Some might, but
there may be some
guys like him.
But that's one reason to have it on the campus. But the other reason is it's on the campus. It's a home game. It's electric. Those campus games are just amazing.
Yeah.
And it's a different experience even than a bowl game. So I think it's going to be really an awesome addition to the playoff. And the student athletes are going to love it. The fans are going to love it. And it's just going to be electric.
When you played your senior year, 1985, at the Air Force, defensive lineman, you guys would have been, you were like 7 or 8 in the country, man. You were number 5 in the coaches poll. He played for Alabama in 1985. They were number 7. You guys might have played each other in a playoff game. You could have played each other.
We started the playoff 40 years too late.
You guys could have gone.
We would have. Imagine. I think about that from our student athletes, right? From their perspective, I can't even imagine how cool that would have been. What a life-changing experience it would have been to be able to play in the playoffs.
Yeah, but with the academy, I said, no, wait a minute, we can't do that. We got tests.
No.
We got stuff we got to do.
No. We'd have been all in. We'd have been all in.
You were a defensive lineman.
Yes.
Wes Neighbors, who's sitting here by me, those of you that are watching on WZZ and TV, you see Wes over here. He was an offensive lineman. He's a hell of a lot bigger than you are.
He is.
But was this an Air Force thing? Because the academy's always, when I coached, we ran the wishbone because we didn't have big enough linemen, and we wanted to block the second level, not block the first level.
Right.
But you I don't know how big you were when you played, but you're not for a defensive lineman,
walking up to the line and seeing William, I would have been like, oh man, I got my work cut out for me today.
Bring your lunch pail.
But that's how that's Air Force football, right? We were always a bit smaller. I think he would have had a hard time fitting in a cockpit too.
Exactly.
And I had to be able to fit into a cockpit and fly an airplane. So, there's a balance there. And that's just how we rolled back then. And now even actually.
Yeah. There is an assumption out there amongst my brethren in this business that I'm in that the decision's already made to go to 14 in 26. That it's like, they're going. They made that agreement. Talk about that a little bit because that isn't something that's cast in stone yet. That's just a kind of a thought that's out there that's going to happen.
Yeah, it is not cast in stone. And honestly, the commissioners went through a lot of iterations of numbers and possibilities, and they landed on 12. It was a happy medium for a lot of things, right? The length of the season, having those buys for certain teams, honoring the champions, student athlete health, giving a little bit of space between the conference championship week and the start of the playoff. But here's the thing. We're going to evaluate. We're going to make this 12 team playoff spectacular. And then we're going to step back and look at it and see, how did it go?
Yeah.
Where should we make changes, or should we? Or did we get it right the first time? In good military fashion, we're going to debrief it. and we'll make adjustments how we see fit. So nothing is set in stone, but nothing's off the table, right? And so we'll figure this out. But I think they landed in a very good spot for the first round.
We got to figure it out for you. I mean, you go to 13 and let those 12 teams play off, and then when you get it all settled, just call up the SEC champ, and we'll come down there and play that game. We'll just go right there and play that game for the SEC championship. Well, I'll tell you, congratulations on the gig. You're going to be great at this. I was fascinated listening to you this morning earlier, and we really appreciate you taking some time with us. And it won't always be this easy, because you know what's going to happen is as things goes out, we'll be calling you up and say, hey, what the heck, man?
I know. I'm in the honeymoon phase right now.
Everybody's
we'll be like,
being nice. Why isn't there 6 SEC teams in there? Are you kidding? Number 6 in the SEC and beat half of those teams.
It's coming. That's why they hired me. I've been in combat, so they're like, get ready, because it's going to get worse.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you so much. I know you're working hard today, hitting everybody that you can hit, but I appreciate you stopping by here.
No, it's been awesome. Thank you. I appreciate spending time with you guys.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right.
All right, let's get our top of the hour break in here. And when we come back, we will check in on Billy Napier and see what's going on over there as well. It's the Tom Abraham Show. We're live on location in Dallas at SEC Media Days.
Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas return from the All-Star break Tuesday, July 23rd for a 6-game homestand against the Chattanooga Lookouts. Promotions for the week include Christmas in July on the 25th, Friends Night on the 26th, and an appearance from Bluey on the 28th. Get your tickets for the homestand now at tptix.com.
Let's rock it!
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A day after the Agents for Raiders receiver Davante Adams called speculation he was on the trading block baseless and false, Adams addressed the topic of a reunion with his former Packers teammate, quarterback Aaron Rodgers, now with the Jets. Adams told First Take co-host Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast if he were to be reunited with anybody, it would be Aaron, but he did stress he's locked in with the Raiders. The U.S. men's Olympic basketball team, likely without forward Kevin Durant, a third straight exhibition game today against Serbia. Durant's dealing with a strained calf. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, defending the second apron provision of the new CBA, said it helps keep the league balanced and become more competitive over time. He downplayed the idea the NBA was trying to limit teams from going on dynastic runs. The league has had 6 different champions in the last 6 years.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Tom Abraham, is here with you.
I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live. Here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby!
Tom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho. Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Tom Abraham Show, day 3 at SEC Media Days. And I'll tell you how fascinating it was during the break there to see Wes Neighbors and Rich Clark telling war stories from back in the day. They would have very likely played against each other. 1985, those teams were very close in the rankings, and they were telling some fun stories here during the break. All right, let's check in to the main media room. Billy Napier, Florida Gators coach, is talking right now. Let's see what he's got to say.
He cares. He's a worker. He's one of the more fun players to coach I've had in my career. He matches your level of preparedness. I mean, you show up to the meeting and you're coaching Graham Mertz, you better be ready to go, right? And I think he learned a lot while he was at Wisconsin. I can still remember having a conversation with Paul Christ about Graham, and he had ups and downs. I think he had some really great days, and then he had some really tough days. Reset, recenter, and approach our team a little bit different way. So Ryan O'Hara is our quarterback coach and analyst, and he does a phenomenal job. He works tirelessly. And he's done a great job. He did a great job with Anthony, and then certainly Graham hit the ground running. But I would tell you, it's a product of the work. Graham, he earned every bit of it. And I'm going to tell you, he earned the respect of his teammates with the way that he competed last year. He's primed to have a breakout year here. It's a big deal for Graham to be back to play quarterback for our team.
Which we're going to say in that same section about midway back, just to your right.
Yeah, Rob Brown, SEC Sideline Sports Memphis. The 3 C's now, campus, culture, coaching with NIL. Talk about that at Florida. And also Cole Kubelik, Roman Harper on Read and React. They use the term logo fever when you look at a schedule. Talk about how you get your guys to say one chapter at a time.
Well, I think any coach that's coaching this league will tell you, you better be ready to play every week. If you're playing an SEC team, no matter what logo is on the other side, you better have your team ready to prepare or you'll get embarrassed. So I think we've got enough maturity in our locker room to understand that. And that's the benefit of experience, right? I mean, so I think we've got ownership at the player level, and all the great teams that I've been a part of, when the players take ownership and they have expectations for themselves and the rest of the team, that gives you a chance. So every logo matters in this league, man. We got 16 of them now. So you got to be ready to go every week.
Coach, we're going to stay in this section right in front of me, about 3 rows back. Barry?
Yeah, Billy, Barry Trammell with the Tulsa World. New advent with the 12-team playoff. What does that do for schools in terms of opportunity, the chance to how successful your season might be, goals you can attain more easily, those kinds of things?
Yeah, it completely changes the game. You think about our league, 12-0, 11-1, 10-2, some argue maybe even 9-3. Each team that's, in the game, not to mention in our league, but across the country, so many more teams have hope, when you get into week 6, 7, 8, 9. whereas maybe that wasn't the case in the 4-game format, right? So I think it's a game changer. And look, it's not just the teams and the coaches and the organization, it's the fan bases. I mean, we thought our game was popular before. It's getting ready to be. We're going to engage more people than ever in the history of the game.
Coach, we're going to go to the far right, our far right, over in the section.
Jacob Goins, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. You guys are playing Miami in the opener, UCF in the middle, and then the finale against Florida State. What does it mean for you and the program and then the state of Florida to be playing that many teams from your state?
Yeah, it's a unique year. I mean, I think ultimately when you think about all the P4 teams, each conference represented to some degree, 2 teams from the ACC and the Big 12, it's an incredible opportunity, and I think it's going to be huge. Each one of those matchups is critical. We have a ton of respect for each one of those teams and coaches, and it's part of the schedule that everybody likes to talk about, right? So, just like I described before, you got to have your team ready to play each week. All those teams got great programs, and it's a big deal in our state. Each one of those matchups will be critical.
We're going to go in this section to your right on this near aisle, about 4 rows back.
Hey, Billy, Mark McLeod, Blitz Sports Radio. You put an emphasis on finishing in the spring, and you alluded to that a little earlier with some of the struggles you've had finishing games the first 2 years. You had Craig Fitzgerald in the weight strength and conditioning program. He's moved on, and of course, Tyler Miles there now. What can you share with us that you've seen from Coach Miles and his staff that gives you the confidence to build that team up mentally to finish these games?
I think it's going to prove to be one of the biggest storylines about this team. I think we made a philosophy change there. Tyler Miles has been phenomenal. I think if you ask each one of the players that are here today, and really it would be the consensus amongst our team, the change in approach there, the whole strength and conditioning, sports science, nutrition, training room team, the discipline, the accountability. I mean, just in January to April, we do DEXA scans at the beginning of a training block, and then at the end, we gained 500 pounds of lean muscle, and we were 500 pounds leaner as well, right? So we made significant progress. Our team looks different. All the numbers, the metrics, the speeds, the strength improvement, not to mention the culture. I think it's critical that your players believe in that part of your process. And I think right now, that's one of the benefits of that change. It's going to be a huge part of our success this year.
We'll stay in the section right in front of you to the right, second row.
Good afternoon, Coach. Cody from On Texas Football. You mentioned faith and some close games last season. So what I'm asking, I want to know, as far as this season goes, what are you hoping to see from your guys when their faith is tested in some of those close ball games?
Well, the game's got a human element to it. I think relationships matter. We do a lot of work with our team trying to create chemistry and camaraderie. We do what we call Journey 101 throughout the entire year. We also have a leadership group that meets every 2 weeks. And I think when you get into those critical possessions in a game, that connection matters, right? And I think just talking to our players a little bit about that on the way here, every detail matters. The margin of error is small. And I think, again, we have to leverage the experience that we have. And I think their expectations rub off on the rest of the team. So, we've been there. That's the unique thing. All this experience that I'm talking about, they were in that locker room after each one of these experiences that we've had, right? So we played some of the best teams in the country down to the wire, right, the last couple of years. So we're close, and we've been working to get in position, to prove ourselves. And this schedule presents every opportunity to do that.
If you have a question, raise your hand. We've got time for another couple. We'll start over here on our right-hand side in the right near aisle.
How you doing? Mark Henry from hornsports.com. You mentioned getting over the hump, close games. What has it changed, this offseason about your program to win those close games and, go on to be at the SEC level when it comes to making the championships?
Yeah, I mean, I think we made some changes on the defensive side of the ball. We added another layer of expertise in special teams. We overhauled the nutrition program, and we changed our philosophy in the strength and conditioning area of our organization. So each year, I try to ask ourselves, if you were starting over, what would you do differently, and make the necessary changes. I think we got to continue to evolve and adjust. We've also added a front office component to our organization as a whole. So the game continues to change, and I think each offseason you got to evaluate those things and make tough decisions.
Okay, we'll stay in that center section on the right aisle.
Hi, Coach. Brendan Martin with SEC Media, Ocala, Florida. Development or picking up DJ Lagway, obviously he is a big deal this year. Could you talk about how he's coming along and what he will mean for the future of your offense?
I was talking to, obviously, DJ. We were very fortunate to get in the game early and build a great relationship with him, and he was a great leader in that class. It's an impressive class. DJ comes from a great family. I think if you had a chance to drive up to Willis, Texas and meet his family, to walk the halls in that school, to see how he's been raised, the community that he comes from, he's got a unique character and faith element to him that I respect. And I certainly respect his family. We all know he's talented. I mean, he dominated high school football his senior year. But he showed up ready to work. I can remember having a conversation with him after the spring game. We have our IDP meeting, and we're sitting there in the cafeteria. He's sitting there eating dinner. I sit down and eat with him, and we're talking about Graham coming back and how I told him that was going to be the best thing that ever happened to him. And he said, Coach, I get that now after being through the entire first semester. So it's been an awesome spring with DJ. I think it's unique, right? 43 starts, first offense, you're scripted, and then you've got this guy who's a little bit different type of athlete, no experience, and you're scripted for the second group. And it's been fun. And DJ has made great progress. I mean, if you go back to some of the throw-in sessions in January and then you watch the spring game, I mean, he continues to improve. And that's what I appreciate about DJ. He wants to get better. He's a worker. And he's getting a chance to observe, in my opinion, one of the best quarterbacks in the country who goes about it the right way in Graham Mertz. So DJ's got a chance to make our team better, and we can never forget he's one play away from running out there. So critical coming days for DJ and his development and getting ready to do his job for our team.
Which we'll take one final question, the center aisle, almost near the back.
Hey, Billy, Trey Wallace with Outkick. When you talk about NIL and where we have gone in the last 6 months, even with the revenue sharing and potential for where that goes, how have you guys as a Florida Gators program kind of discussed?
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, I think we've done a good job evolving at the University of Florida. We built a great system. We've got a great organization called Florida Victorious that really has helped us execute in the recruiting space. Not only football, but all of our sports at the University of Florida have benefited. Great leadership with Jose Costa, Nate Barbera, their collaboration. As the laws changed, we were able to collaborate more. But we've benefited in a major way. And I would tell you, it's unique, their approach with the community service as they partner with the nonprofits and charities, helping our players get engaged in our community throughout our state, in their hometowns and their communities. And then they've got a huge emphasis on financial literacy, which I think has been extremely beneficial for our players and athletes. So, some of the things that Commissioner Sankey said on the opening day, we need national standards. Ultimately, that's where we're at. And I think that's what we're pursuing. There's 5 components that are critical to that he mentioned in his opening comments. But I think ultimately when you talk about NIL revenue share, the game continues to evolve. And I think it's critical. We have to move forward here and pursue some national standards. The players want it, and I promise you the coaches want it.
Coach Napier, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
And there you go. That's Billy Napier meeting with the media in the main room. All right, we'll get a break in here. We'll come back with more. We also have added Danny Werfel later on in the hour. We'll have that right here on the Tom Abraham Show, live from Dallas. More right after this.
You're listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhauer here. We're extremely proud that Baumhauer's Victory Grill has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhauer's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
Owen Home Appliance Center features the biggest names in home appliances like Viking, Whirlpool, Maytag, KitchenAid, GE, and Frigidaire. But they also have great brands that you may not know, like Mela, Forno, Z-Line, InvisiCook, and Beko. But no matter what, they all get delivered the day you buy, and they service everything they sell. And at the Lacey Spring Showroom, just 8 miles south of the river on 231, you'll find a totally interactive showroom where you can hear the dishwashers wash and the freezer's free and see the cookies get baked in the double ovens. Owen Home Appliance Center will even wash and dry a load of clothes for you so that you can see how great the products are. And they have ice machines making all kinds of ice, cubed, nugget, and top hat. How is that for variety? Owen Home Appliance Center believes in community involvement as well, sponsoring youth teams, race cars, and an annual Easter egg hunt. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service is the name of the game for Owen Home Appliance Center. Find them in Somerville and Lacey Springs and online at owenappliance.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com. SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
AL cert number 21014.
Welcome into the hottest and coolest game show around called The Freeze. Today's contestant, Bob. Bob, can you tell me the heating and air business that provides free service with repair?
Is it Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
Can you tell me which heating and air business provides free second opinions?
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning.
You are a grand prize winner. You have won a visit from the #1 heating and air business in the Tennessee Valley.
Talent Heating and Air Conditioning?
That's right. Talent Heating and Air is coming to you.
This is Thomas with Talent Heating and Air Conditioning, and you don't have to win a game show to use us. We have free second opinions year-round, and this summer we're doing free service calls with a repair. So just remember, call Talent Heating and Air Conditioning at 256-503-4490 or visit us on our website at talenthvac.com.
Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
And welcome back. Tom Abraham Show on location here in Dallas, day 3 of SEC Media Days. And without question, this one is the big one. I mean, this is the big. I'm not taking anything away from tomorrow, where Hugh Freeze will be featured, and you will hear Hugh Freeze live in his entirety tomorrow. But the Texas A&M Aggies and Mike Elko will be here tomorrow. Sam Pittman is always fun with the Arizona or with the Arkansas Razorbacks and the Kentucky Wildcats. But this morning has been in large part about Alabama, Kalen DeBoer, his first year, and so on. And then, Billy Napier had been on as well. And then coming up to end things, it's going to be Steve Sarkisian. And Steve Moulton's already given me the horns down sign. So we'll see how that all works out as well. I got to have to check the lobby when I get off the air before Sarkisian comes on, just to see if there's a pile of Texas fans here. Because, it just means more. Okay, so you got to act appropriate with that. We've also added Danny Werfel to the show today. He is, of course, a Heisman Trophy winner, former quarterback at the Florida Gators, and we will be talking to him about some stuff that he's involved in with the Werfel Foundation and the All-State AFCA Good Works team. I'm still a member of the American Football Coaches Association. I'm an associate member now that I'm not a coach anymore. I wonder if Nick Saban still has his membership in the AFCA. I'm not sure, but Coach Saban, I got thoughts about that I've been holding that I'm going to get to at some particular point in time. But speaking of Coach Saban, earlier Tyler Booker stopped by to visit with us, the outstanding offensive lineman for the Crimson Tide, and we had a few minutes to chat with him. And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Joined now by Tyler Booker, joining us, offensive lineman for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and he's styling and profiling here as well, man. Looking good. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I am fantastic. And give me a little bit of detail behind the chain there.
The chain is really a family crest, and I designed that because I realized that people don't do family crests a lot anymore. And some of the details of the chain, it says respect up top with the C and the T capitalized, symbolizing that I'm from Connecticut, and I want to always put Connecticut on a bigger platform whenever I have the chance. It says established.
Because there's a lot of SEC players from Connecticut, right?
Yeah, I can name 2 off the top of my head. There's me, and then there's Ellis Robinson, the #1 recruit that just went to Georgia. He plays cornerback.
There you go.
So we actually grew up down the street from one another. That's my little brother, and I can't wait to play him on September 28th.
Of course, then you went to IMG, right, to play your high school ball down there as well. All right, so talk about the differences. Obviously, everybody loves Coach Saban, and what he did is amazing, but now it's Kalen DeBoer, and you guys turned the page. What has that been like in the locker room, on the practice field, and stylistically from what you guys are doing?
It's been a very smooth transition. Us as players, we knew that we had to uphold the Alabama standard no matter who they brought in. Luckily enough for us, we brought in a coach who has a winning tradition, a standard of winning everywhere that he's been. So to be able to play for a coach like that has been a really easy transition.
6'5", 352 pounds, and
now.
I was going to say, you look like you lost a little bit.
Yes,
I'm at 352. Is that something did DeBoer say to you when he came in and the new offensive staff and say, you know what, we need you just a little bit lighter? Or is that something you did yourself?
That's something I did myself just because I knew it wasn't sustainable to play years and years of football like I want to play at 350 pounds. So I had to come down off it. I feel a lot better now, and I can't wait to put the pads on, see how much faster I'm moving in.
Most offensive linemen I know want to put their hand in the dirt and roll off the ball and knock somebody off the ball a little bit. Is this offense, do you feel like you'll still have an opportunity to play that good old-fashioned Alabama smash mouth football?
Oh, for sure. At the end of the day, this is still the SEC. We're still going to run the ball and be dominant at it.
Yeah, all right. That's good stuff. A leadership role, I would imagine, now along that line.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's got to be good. And how cool was it for Caden Proctor to come back? Did you guys bust his chops a little bit? Like, make like he's a new guy? Make like he's a transfer or something? And we make him carry the gear or do something, you know?
So we actually did. When the new guys introduced themselves, we started left to right and facing the meeting room. So he was on the left. I said, hey, man, stand up and introduce yourself. Nobody knows who you are. So he got up. He stood up. He said, hey, I'm Caden Proctor, this, that, the third. Everybody booed him, and then they clapped, obviously. We were just so glad to have him back. Everybody's glad to have him back. And he's been working, and he understands that he had to really gain our respect back because he did leave. But we're so glad to have him back, and he's definitely earned everybody.
He's got to pay the price a little bit. He's got to do something, you know what I mean? He walked out. He's got to, even though it was a minute.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
I like to call it him having a long spring break.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Say, hey, if you want to get out of working out with us, there's a lot of things you can do.
Abroad.
That's Tyler Booker. He's going to be one of the big-time leaders on this offensive line for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and it's going to be tough, man, but go get him.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's Tyler Booker, and good kid. All of them really good, and, one of the things that I have seen change over the years, 21 years of doing this here at SEC Media Days, the guys were hard to talk to at the beginning. I mean, it was difficult. It was like pulling teeth with some of these guys. They're so much more polished and so much more professional because, well, they're professional. And they also, all of these guys the guys that come here, the three guys that are featured with each team, these all have NIL deals. They all got some jingle in their pocket. It used to be when you saw a player show up and they had a really nice suit on or something, you'd be like, what's up with that? I mean, what are you kidding me? That they somehow, some way, were able to score this nice outfit. Now they all dress like bankers. I mean, they all dress, great, and including Tyler Booker. So that was a good job by him. All right. We have Danny Werfel coming up in a few minutes. He will be joining us, talk a little bit about some things that he is involved in. This is a guy that is a former Heisman Trophy winner. And, we do need to talk about Florida. We haven't gotten to Alabama, Florida, and Texas and Mississippi State and what the expectations are for them record-wise. We need to get that in as well. We're going to take a break right here. We'll come back with more right after this. The Tom Abraham Show, live in Dallas.
You are listening to SEC Media Days on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. You're listening to the Tom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
You need a lawyer and pick up the phone. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. When you call for a lawyer, where does that phone ring? My phone rings in my office.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. My phone rings in my office too.
So does mine. I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. And when you've been hurt and need help, we're the ones who take your call.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
Your representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community.
The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Since 1986, Full Moon Barbecue has been cooking quality meats low and slow over a hickory wood-fired pit. From ribs and wings, brisket, turkey, catfish, and sausage to the best butts in town. If you're planning a holiday or a birthday party, Full Moon has a large banquet room. And Full Moon is ready for your next catering or tailgate. Just call us and we'll take care of everything. 256-713-0070. Full Moon Barbecue on the Parkway next to Costco. The best little pork house in Alabama.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give My Lowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a My Lowe's Rewards member? Join for free today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
And welcome back. Tom Abraham Show on location in Dallas. SEC Media Days 3. And this segment of the show is brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage. And remember, you can use that equity in your home to pay off other high consumer debt items. And North Alabama Mortgage is good for you, whether you're listening in Tennessee, Alabama, or Florida. It's North Alabama Mortgage. We are joined now by a Heisman Trophy winner and Danny Wuerffel. He has teamed together the Wuerffel Foundation and Allstate, getting together also with the AFCA, which I'm still a member of the AFCA. They got a category for once you retire from coaching and you go into broadcasting, you can kind of keep your AFCA membership. And so I've kept that going a little bit for the last 20 years since I stopped coaching. But Danny joins us now to talk a little bit about that. Talk about this because, we've been talking about this program for a number of years, but now associated with your Wuerffel Foundation.
Yeah, well, so I've been
at the Werfel Foundation, we've been working on developing the Werfel Trophy, a community service individual award for 20 years now. We're about to celebrate our 20th anniversary. And we've been a huge fan of All-State, AFCA, and the Good Works team. It's kind of like an all-American team for community service. And so it just made sense for us to, we have similar missions, we have similar visions to kind of partner together and shine a brighter light on the young men around the country that are doing great work. We're announcing today 178 nominees for the Good Works team. And in this partnership, the final 11 will be the semifinalists for the Werfel Trophy. And then as we announce the finalists and the winner of what's now the All-State Werfel Trophy, they will be the captain of the Good Works team. So it's a win-win for both of us, and we're really excited to announce that today.
I think it's great because we don't talk enough about the good guys. I was talking to you off air about Field of Faith Radio, a show that I do in Florida, which hopefully will feature you in a not too distant future. And it seems like the knuckleheads get all the attention. I mean, that's all you hear about on ESPN or wherever else. You hear about those guys, but you don't hear about the work that is being done by good guys. And once you start doing something like what you're doing, you find out that there are a lot of kids out there that are doing some really, really good work.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah. And I think back when I was a kid, and for good or bad, I had these heroes, and you sort of mimic them. I wanted to throw like Dan Marino, and when they make good choices, you think that's cool. And they make bad choices, it kind of influences you too. So here's a chance to shine a spotlight on many guys that you might not ever hear of, but who in their off time are just doing tremendous work to make their communities better, being selfless, and really feel like if we can tell more and more of those stories, not just the winner or not just the final team, but all of them all year, you've got an amazing opportunity to influence young people, even old people. It's inspiring, the things that they're doing.
Yeah. Is there a website or something where folks can follow it and keep track of the players and so on and so forth?
Yep. Well, if you just Google the All-State AFCA Good Works team, or you can go to the WerfelTrophy.org, you can track with that. But yeah, today there's 178 nominees that are listed, and a press release went out earlier this morning.
Yeah.
And there's some really, really amazing people on that list already. It's going to be tough work to narrow that down to the final team, and of course to pick a winner is going to be real hard.
Now, I haven't seen the Werfel Trophy itself. Is it like Spurrier yelling at you or anything? I mean, is he like throwing his visor down and yelling at you?
Dunking from a visor. No, actually, it's I really love it. It's so after I threw one touchdown early in my career, I was just kind of overwhelmed with emotion and gratitude for the moment, and I just put my hands together like a little prayer.
Yeah.
And that sort of became a little bit of a gesture that I would do often. And that was the image that they picked, and they created and built a beautiful trophy bust of that image. And that's the one that we use.
It is tremendous stuff. Of course, Danny has a great faith, great faithful walk. The guy that came a few years after you, Tim Tebow, I mean, we all know about his faith, too. Do you guys, is there a little like quarterback club for you guys at Spurrier? Do y'all won Heisman trophies as quarterbacks there at Florida? Do you keep in touch at all?
Yeah, we see each other all the time, kind of support each other's nonprofit work, especially. And now there's three pretty amazing statues in front of the stadium with the three of us. I love to go walk up when people are taking pictures and ask if I can take their picture. And, half of them don't have a clue who I am, and half of them get pretty excited. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah, that is good stuff. And I'll tell you, the schedule makers, they didn't do any favors for Florida this year. What a brutal schedule. I mean, it could be better, significantly better than they were last year, and end up with the same record. It's just a very, very tough schedule.
Yeah, it really is. Especially to hit on a Napier's third year, which is a super important year for any coach in their tenure at a university. And so, I do think our team is bigger, faster, stronger. We got more depth. We're deeper. I love our quarterback situation with Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway. So there's so many reasons to be optimistic, but I mean, it's going to be hard. If we can win eight games, that could be a fantastic year, but won't necessarily be received that way.
No, I think it would be. I think if they won 8 games against that schedule, I think it would be, a great sign for them going in the right direction. I was on a Florida Gator affiliate for years down in Southwest Florida, and the rivalry with Florida State was always such a thing. Of course, back then Miami too. I mean, the three were always top 5. It was crazy, what was going on there for a while. What's it like, though, for Gators and former Gators and Gator fan to see Florida State have a year like they had last year, where you guys are still in that rebuilding mode?
Yeah, well, the bummer is we almost beat them. That would have been great. I mean, hey, if they're going to be at their best and we're going to be at our worst, and we can almost beat them, we'll take that. But it's tough. I always think some of the best things that ever happened to the Florida was Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the worst things that ever happened to Florida was Steve Spurrier and Urban Meyer, because the expectations are so high that if you're not winning 11 or more games, that you feel like it's a little bit of a failure. So we just got to reset our sights. I think Napier's building a tremendous culture. He's bringing in great players, and so hopefully that momentum will move forward. We'll have a good year and good things to come.
Danny Werfel with us here. All right, finally, so you're not handpicking this the Good Works winner and the finalists and all that stuff yourself. It's not like, okay, this is my trophy and I'll decide. You got a pretty big committee that works on it.
That
right?
is true. If it were me, we may not have had a Georgia Bulldog win it this past year, or a Florida State Seminole the year before. We have a great committee. All the former winners vote. So there's 20 voters right there. We have a great national selection committee that includes a lot of the sports folks that are here and notable coaches. And so it's a very well-esteemed group that's picking. It's a great group of young men, and we're really proud to try to honor all of them.
So if a Gator wins it and a Seminole wins it, does that you give the automatic 10 years? Now you don't have to pick one of those guys anymore. They're off the list. I don't know if that works that way.
No. Our goal every year is to pick the right winner.
Yeah.
And so we try to put all politics aside, put everything aside, and say, who is doing the most good in the most creative, unique ways to make the biggest difference, and that's the person we're looking for.
Ben Troop's a good friend, and we worked. I helped him a lot with his career, and he helped me a lot on different things. I met him in Nashville when I was on the air in Nashville. He was playing for the Titans, back then, and it's always fascinating to hear stories from guys like that. He's a guy who grew up in Georgia, and became a Gator, and he's Gator through and through, man, all the way, and he still lives in Georgia, So that rivalry is real, and I know people here. All they want to do is talk about Texas and Oklahoma, and it's fine. It's Texas and Oklahoma. I'll take Iron Bowl and I'll take Cocktail Party all day long.
Yeah. Well, I live in Georgia now, too. People say, why would you move there? They're going to give you trouble. And I said, well, when I played, they didn't give us any trouble.
There you go. That's good stuff. Danny Werfel has been our guest. Well, Danny, I appreciate you so much. I look forward to getting you on Field of Faith Radio as well, and hearing you tell your story and giving your testimony there. And good luck with this. This is a great, great cause, what you're doing with Allstate and the AFCA and the Werfel Foundation. Good stuff.
Great. Thanks, Tom. Keep up the good work.
All right, man. Thank you. Danny Werfel. All right, let's snag our final break, if we can get a break in here, and then we will come back with some final thoughts and give you our record predictions for the teams that were here today. We'll do that right after this. It's the Tom Abraham Show, live from Dallas, SEC Media Days.
Coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee, dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
No one knows the importance of a great assist more than Lowe's and Leo Messi. That's why we've teamed up to give MyLowe's Rewards members 10 times the points when Messi makes an assist during CONMEBOL Copa America USA 2024. Activate this offer starting June 20th, so when Messi assists, you score. Shop the day after an assist to earn those extra points. Not a MyLowe's Rewards member? Join for free today. Visit Lowe's.com/Messi for more details.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve. And we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Stan McDonald. Stan, tell everybody why you're the best damn dirt lawyer in North Alabama.
Yes, Wes, at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. You know I'm a dirt lawyer, and a lot of our friends know that, which means we specialize in real estate. Now, if you own real estate or you're buying it or you're selling it, you need to do a closing, but a lot of times there's legal issues associated with that. We're a great group to talk to. My son, Lewis McDonald, heads our commercial closing division, and we approach your real estate needs very seriously. We seek to be the premier real estate closing company in North Alabama, and we do it in such a way it shows that we're experienced, we're for your success. We like to handle your real estate needs the same way Coach Dan Reeves used to say, never let them see you sweat. And that's going to be to your benefit, too, when you visit us at Jacob Title and the Stanton Law Firm. Our website online is jacobtitle.com.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Today's coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, TOC, with 13 locations across Alabama and Tennessee dedicated to providing a world-class experience. Online at visittoc.com.
And welcome back to Dallas, the Omni Hotel in downtown Dallas, wrapping up day 3 for the Tom Abraham Show here at SEC Media Days. And let's take a look at the teams that are here today and what we think they'll do. We'll bring in Chad Gwaltney back at Mission Control and get his thoughts on some of these teams as well. And Chad, let's start with Mississippi State. They got a tough road to hoe. I got them losing to Florida, Texas, Georgia, Texas A&M in the middle of the season, and then they lose to Tennessee, Missouri, and Ole Miss to close out the season. I got them at 5-7, and that might be a little bit rich. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they're 5-7 as well. I think it's going to be a really tough field battle. Of the obvious games, UMass, Arkansas, the first 3 at the beginning of the year, and then I just have them. I have them. I have Florida slightly better, but I'll just have to see what happens. That would be 5-7, 6-6.
Yeah, Florida, I mean, you look at that game against Miami to start the season. That's a huge game. That might mean being a bowl team or not. As they get Miami in Gainesville, that's a swing game there. So I'm putting that in the swing game list. I think they'll beat Samford. I think I'm going to give them a win over Texas A&M and Mississippi State, and then Central Florida, which is not going to be easy, but they'll play them in Gainesville as well. Then it gets dicey. They're going to lose at Tennessee. They're going to lose in Georgia. They're going to lose to Texas. They're going to lose to LSU. They're going to lose to Ole Miss, and I think they're going to lose to Florida State. I think it's going to be very tough down the stretch. So the question is, the swing games, Miami and Kentucky, are the two. And in reality, I think that Florida comes in at around 5-7 as well, maybe 6-6.
I have the same thing. I have Kentucky slightly better. So I would have to put him at probably 5-7, if anything. It's really between those two. They're really, really close. I have Florida and Kentucky really close if I had to put them anywhere.
Alabama, I see that the Georgia game is a swing game. I think they will win in Madison, Wisconsin, get off to a 3-0 start. You have to look at the Georgia game as being a swing game. They'll beat Vandy in South Carolina. I think the Tennessee game is a swing game. And I think that the LSU game at Baton Rouge is a swing game. And then you have, Oklahoma and Auburn to end the thing. So I think for Alabama, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 swing games that could go either way. And if they win, 4 of the 5, I got Alabama at 10-2. And it wouldn't stun me if they were 9-3, and I wouldn't go run into fire kindling the bore at 9-3 with this kind of a schedule, especially on the road. I did in the rankings of the SEC. I did end up putting Alabama 4. I have Ole Miss ahead of Alabama, Georgia and Texas at 1-2. I have Alabama. I'm going to say 10-2. 9-3 is not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, if anything, I mean, I have them at 1, and I have Alabama at number 2. We already talked about it yesterday. And if anything, if they're going to win, I think they're going to lose 2, maybe 1 game. If they lose that Georgia game, I think they can make a run. If they lose the other game, I think they could still lose to Tennessee, and then they still have a chance to be 10-2. And outside of that, I like I said, I don't know outside of those 2 games for me. Other than
so you don't have any concerns about going to Baton Rouge or going to Norman?
I just think I think the more experienced team is the away team in both of those situations. I think maybe the atmosphere a little bit in LSU will be a little different, but maybe they'll have some pregame jitters beforehand. But if I have to keep up with my prediction and everything that I have, then I'm going to say 10-2 and then 11-1. So I'll stick with 11-1.
The thing with the LSU and Oklahoma games, they're both at the end, near the end of the season in November. By November, you'd think that everybody's kind of got their stuff together a little bit. And that brings us to Texas. I think that the Michigan game is a swing game, and Oklahoma game is always a swing game as well. And I'm going to say Texas A&M is a swing game. They're going to win 2 of those 3. I got Texas at 11-1.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with you too. This is the thing; it's like, you don't have to play Alabama, and Alabama doesn't play Texas, so it's just like what other game can I pick? That honestly says they're going to lose that game, and Michigan could be a swing game. I don't know what's going to be at quarterback. The Georgia game, and then who knows? That end of the year, Texas A&M it might get snake bit. I doubt it, but I'll stick with 11-1 as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have them beating Georgia at home. It's a swing game, but I got them beating them. All right, so that's going to do it for us here from SEC Media Days. Day 3 is in the hopper, and of course, tomorrow will be a big day as well. Always is a big day when we get a chance to get the commissioner on. Of course, Auburn will be featured tomorrow as well, and I'm sure we'll have some Auburn guys that are stopping by the table as well. You will hear from Hugh Freeze live at 1:05 tomorrow, so we'll have that for you in its entirety, a half hour of Hugh Freeze. And before Hugh Freeze is when we'll have an opportunity to talk to Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC. We'll see what else falls out. Sam Pittman has always been willing to come on with us. I like Sam Pittman a lot, and we'll see if we get a chance to talk to Sam Pittman a little bit. Also featured tomorrow will be Texas A&M and the Kentucky Wildcats. All of that will be tomorrow here from SEC Media Days, where it's all hands on deck, and especially today has been a big day here today, and Texas is still yet to come. And for the first time all week long, a raindrop has fallen here in Texas, so that means it's not 100 degrees out. It's the first time it's not 100. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should double check that. Maybe it is. It's been over 100 the entire time that we have been here, and it's only 96 now. I got to get a jacket. Got to put a sweater on. It's 96 degrees. All right, that's going to do it for us. You have a wonderful day. This has been the Tom Abraham Show live in Dallas.
partner and a
I'd never met. We had a quick hello, never imagined that first encounter might bring us here. Stevens is in his 24th year of coaching, his 11th as a head coach, and 4th as the head coach at the University of Texas. He enters 2024's season with a 25-14 record during his prior 3 years, including going 12-2 last year, a college football playoff berth, and being named Coach of the Year. He's an avid sports fan. He's actually a big soccer fan, I'm told. So I'll let him explain that. He's a Los Angeles native who's also a fan of the LA Dodgers. Enjoys watching and playing golf when he can, which we know is limited from this point forward through the football season. Has become good friends with Sergio Garcia, who's now an Austin resident. It's sometimes forgotten that he was a quarterback in his own right. I was here in Dallas where he played his final college game and was offensive MVP of the Cotton Bowl back in 1996 for EYU. First appearance at the SEC Football Media Days for the University of Texas head football coach Steve Sarkisian.
All righty. First thing I'd like to do is welcome the SEC media to Dallas, Texas. This is an awesome opportunity, I think, for the state of Texas, for y'all to be here to join us, and what a stage this has been, and what a journey it's been to get to this point. I want to hit on a couple things before we get going. You know, when I was a young coach, my first job as a graduate assistant was at USC under Pete Carroll. And there was a tight end coach there who was a young coach as well by the name of Lane Kiffin. And his father, Monty, took me under his wing every time he came to town. And we talked football. And I learned more about Tampa 2 than anybody. So anybody who's playing me, please play Tampa 2, because I can tell you exactly who's supposed to go, where, how, and why, because that's who Monty Kiffin was. He was so detailed. He was a genuine man. He cared for all of those that nobody cared about. And it's a dear loss, not only for the sport of football, but it's a dear loss for me, and I know for Lane, and my condolences to the Kiffin family on that. The next thing is thoughts and prayers with those affected by Hurricane Beryl in Houston and all affected areas. We're still thinking of you. We're praying for y'all. I know it's had a lot of impact on a lot of people, and this time of year with the hurricanes, we're definitely thinking of y'all, and our prayers are with you. The next, I want to talk briefly about Coach Saban. Coach, I see you. I know everybody's been coming up talking about you, but and I know you've impacted a lot of people who have been up on this stage. No one have you impacted more than me. I would not be standing here today without you and what you've meant to my career, to my life, and I can't thank you enough. And the impact that you've had on our game has been second to none. And I just can't thank you enough. I want to be able to publicly do that to you, Coach. Thank you very, very much. Next thing I want to shift gears to is talk a little bit about a couple weeks ago in Austin, Texas. And we had our SEC celebration, and what a celebration it was. And you could feel the excitement from Longhorn Nation, the fact that we get to be here today, this fall, playing in the Southeastern Conference is tremendous. That was a tremendous event. I was shocked, quite frankly, at the amount of people and the pageantry that was there that day. It gave me a little sense and a feel of what goes on outside of DKR on game day that I normally don't get to be part of. And that wouldn't happen without the leadership of President Jay Hartzell, chairman of our board, Kevin Eltife, and our athletic director, Chris Del Conte. Their vision to take the University of Texas into the Southeastern Conference was one that took a lot of foresight. I wish they maybe would have informed me before I took the job that this is what we were going to do. But I didn't get informed that until afterwards. But I said, hey, we already had to build a team that was going to have to beat the best team in the SEC if we wanted to win a national championship. So not much had to change there for us on that front. And then lastly, I'd like to thank Commissioner Sankey, his guidance, his leadership, to be part of this with him, what he's been able to do in this conference to put it on the forefront on the national stage has been tremendous. And I was just joking with him in the back. So we flew in this morning, we landed, and we get off the plane, we get in the Sprinter van, and we got a police escort to media days. If it just means more, I mean, it just means more right there. The fact that we had a Sprinter van with a police escort to come to this was tremendous. As far as our transition in the Southeastern Conference, I think the key word is respect. We have a ton of respect for this conference. We have a ton of respect for the teams, the coaches, the players, and the fans. This is the elite conference in college football, and we're fortunate enough to be part of it. And we won't do anything without having a level of respect of who we play, where we're playing them, the types of players that they have, the coaching that they have. And I think on the flip side of that, we have to go earn their respect. We're not going to get anything in this deal. Nothing's going to be free. Okay. We're going to have to go earn the respect of our opponents, the opposing coaches, the opposing fans. And that's going to be kind of on the forefront of what we do. But the beauty of this conference is really the pageantry. You know, I've been fortunate enough to have spent 3 years in the Southeastern Conference. The pageantry of the games, the stadiums that you get to play against, the iconic programs. That's the beauty of the Southeastern Conference. And the fact that we get to be part of it now, it's finally here, is pretty exciting. It's just a great opportunity. As far as our team goes, I think this team has been really, really focused. You know, it's been a long time coming for Texas to get back to this stage. Last year was a tremendous run. We fell short in the semifinals in the Sugar Bowl, coming off of being Big 12 champions. We set a school record with 11 players drafted in the NFL draft, and that's a real credit not only to our coaches for trying to recruit good players, but I think to the development of our players in our program, not only on the football field, but in the weight room, in the classroom, and in life. That the NFL sees players in our program that can come in and enhance their teams to help them try to go win a Super Bowl. There's an idea of obsession going on in our locker room right now. They got a taste of what it can taste like, of being a Big 12 champion, playing in a college football playoff, and we fell short. And this idea of obsession, the obsession that our players have, is one that really came from them. They couldn't wait to get back to work. They couldn't wait to get back in the weight room. And when I took the job, I don't know if I could have said that. It was almost like kind of prodding cattle to make sure that what they were doing day in and day out to get them to that point. Now we've got a team full of hungry players. It's a competitive roster. And I love that about them, because in this conference, you got to have depth. If you don't have depth, and everybody wants to talk about the O&D line, yes, that's vitally important, and I think we've got great depth there. You got to have depth at quarterback. You got to have depth at running back. You have to have depth at safety. You have to have depth across the board. And for us to be able to sit here and say this is the deepest team we've had, probably the most talented team we've had in my 4 years here, I can unequivocally say that. And we lost some really good players a year ago, but we've got a very deep football team. One that we're excited about and looking forward to watching them compete this fall. Off the team, we've got 3 players here with us today. We got Quinn Ewers going into year 3 as our quarterback, a guy who has gotten better from year 1 to year 2. He's really improved from year 2 to year 3. He's changed his body. He looks great. He understands the system. But the thing that I'm probably most proud of him about is his leadership. This guy is exuding confidence right now, and there's nothing better for anybody in your organization, for anybody in your building to walk in and to say, there's our guy. And our guy's exuding confidence. He's carrying himself the right way. He's doing things the right way, not only on the field, but off the field. He's our leader. And we can unequivocally say that about Quinn Ewers. And I'm proud to have him with us today. He's got a great belt buckle on, if you guys haven't seen it yet, and some awesome boots, if you're wondering. Kelvin Banks is also with us today, our left tackle, who's been a day 1 starter since he was a true freshman. If there's anybody in our program that I would say, hey, go emulate that guy, the way he handles his business on the field, off the field, the way he works, first guy there, last guy off the field, that's Kelvin Banks. Now, he's going to be a high draft pick whenever that day comes, but the way he's carried himself has been super impressive, and his play shows on Saturdays, but it's who he is Sunday through Friday is really makes up why he plays the way on Saturday. And then Jahdae Barron's here with us as well, a guy who had a tough decision to come back for his senior season, came back. He's kind of the glue on the defense for us. He's heady, he's savvy, he can play multiple positions, he's tough. I love what he brings to our team. I love the leadership that he brings to the team, and so we're lucky to have him. As far as our coaching staff goes, one thing that we have going for us is coordinator continuity. I've had the same coordinators in 4 years now here at Texas. with Kyle Flood on the offensive line, offensive coordinator. Pete Kwiatkowski is our defensive coordinator, and then Jeff Banks is our special teams coordinator. From an offensive perspective, if you haven't ever seen us play, we believe in balance. We believe in trying to make it hard on the defense with multiple personnel groupings, formations, motion shifts. We love to run the football. We love to play action pass. We love to RPO. That's not going to change. Okay, so if you're wondering how's it going to look with the new headset communication thing, we aren't going to change. We're going to do what we do. We're just going to try to do it better than we did a year ago. Okay, defensively, I think one thing that we've really tried to evolve into, we've really tried to commit ourselves to stopping the run, and I think that showed a year ago. We have to be better in pass defense, and there's two ways to get better in pass defense. One, got to cover people better, right? You got to guard people better. You have to have people that can guard them. You also have to have the schemes to guard those people, but you have to have a better way to affect the quarterback. And so we've really tried to invoke that into our team of how do we create more of a pass rush to affect the quarterback, which I think we've improved upon this year, and we'll see the benefits of that. And then on special teams, we're an aggressive special teams unit. We try to go block the kick. If we're not going to block the kick, we're going to try to return it for a touchdown. That's just the way we operate. And Coach Banks does a great job with that, and looking forward to another great year. And when you have depth on your team like we have right now, that's when your special teams can really start to rise up, because we try to play our best players on special teams. When you've got multiple good players, now that depth can permeate to special teams. And so we think we're going to be even better on teams than we've been in the past, and we've been pretty good. And in the end, for our team, we have to be mentally and physically tough. And that's the way we preach. That's what we teach. That's the way we work. That's the way we work in the off season. That'll never change. And for any of you who have ever been to Austin, Texas in July, and you start walking in DKR and running in DKR at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you better be mentally and physically tough. And that's what our guys are doing right now. I'd say a couple things in closing, and then we get to questions. At the University of Texas, the standard is the standard, okay? Part of that standard is our culture, all right? Our culture is what makes us who we are. We take a lot of pride in our culture. We pour into our culture. We are a very connected group. We love one another. We work with one another, and that's not going to change, okay? But at the University of Texas, part of the standard being the standard is competing for championships. I'm up here talking about football, but it's at every sport. It's at every level. And so regardless of the conference, and that's to take nothing away from the SEC, our goal is to come into this conference and compete for a conference championship. It is what it is. That's why you go to the University of Texas. So that won't change. And I want to leave you with this. When I took the job at the University of Texas, and I walked into DKR, and one of the first signs I saw was a quote that I've put up now in my office that I'll always and forever hold on to. The pride and winning tradition at the University of Texas shall not be entrusted to the weak nor the timid. And that's not going to change now that we've changed conferences. We're going to go attack this thing. Like I said, we've got a ton of respect for this conference and the teams in this conference, but we're going to go attack it, and we're going to go try to win a conference championship, because that's why we're at the University of Texas. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to renewing rivalries with Texas A&M and with Arkansas. We're one of the few schools with realignment that has benefited from realignment, that we've gotten some rivalries back. And so we're looking forward to those things as well. And it's going to be a great year. We're looking forward to it. Thank you. Hook 'em.
Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand. Grant, Edley, or Kylie. Coach, we're going to start over on the right-hand side on the near aisle. Dennis.
Sark, hi, Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports. I think we all totally get why Arch would come to Texas and basically face the prospect of perhaps sitting for 2 years, the support system he's got, everything. But I wonder if you could just recount what that conversation was like, that may be the case, that you're going to get the training, you're going to get enough reps and experience here to get where you want to go.
Well, I think that's something, historically for us, part of recruiting is your track record. And we've been fortunate to coach some pretty good quarterbacks. We've been fortunate to do it for kind of some decades now. We've been fortunate to have some pretty good quarterback rooms. And I think the Manning family is pretty well aware of that. And I think they trained Arch to try to put himself in the best position to try to play in the best conference in America, and then ultimately put himself in the best position to further his career playing in the National Football League. And so with that, I think Arch's development has been important to the family, and he's reaping the benefit of those things. And so it hasn't been very difficult at all. I think it's been pretty simple for him.
Coach, we're going to go straight in front of me, about 4 rows back. Kirk.
Kirk Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. You haven't used a big rotation in your receivers, it seemed like, and with good reason. You don't want to take Xavier and AD off the field. But with so many in the portal, so many young receivers coming in, including Wingo, might you expand your rotation and play more of them, or it just makes it more competitive in practice?
I think it's probably twofold, Kurt. We are gonna play more receivers. I think the length of this season, and because of not having all of the rapport with Quinn, some of that I have to feel out as games go. It is a very talented room for sure. And we've got 3 great transfers. When you talk about Isaiah Bond, Matthew Golden, Silas Bolden, 3 really experienced, good football players that came from good programs. We had signed a very good class the year before with Jonte Cook, DeAndre Moore, and Ryan Niblett. And then with this incoming class, I think it's pretty fair to say Ryan Wingo is a really good player for us. And so to think that I've got 7 quality players there, now, is it going to be a 7-man rotation? That'll bear itself out. But I do think we'll play more players than we have in the past. We'll rotate more guys than we probably have in the past. And then as we work ourselves through the season, when you start playing this many games, I'd love to tell you we're not going to get injuries. Injuries are going to occur. So we're going to play more players probably earlier in the season than we have, just because you don't have some of that experience that we lost from a year ago. But this isn't a lack of talent. This group is very talented, and by far and away our deepest receiver core that we've had in 4 years.
Coach, we're going to go to the section to your right on the aisle.
Hey, Steve, Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. There's a lot of Heisman hype with Quinn and Carson Beck. How does his demeanor make him ideal to deal with all that external noise?
I think Quinn's probably like the coolest guy in the room. He doesn't get caught up in what a Heisman hype. Probably if you asked him, would he even know? He's just not caught up in that stuff. When Quinn gets free time, he's going to go hunt or he's going to go fish. When he's here, he's going to work, and he's just working on his craft. He's being with his teammates. And so even in game, when you think about Quinn, when he shows those moments of emotion, right, on a great throw, it's almost like shocking to people, because even when the bad moments occur, he stays so calm and so cool in the moment that with the hype, I just don't think we have to worry too much about that. He's more focused on trying to win a championship, playing the best football he can play, being the best leader, the best teammate he can be. That's probably more important to him than what award might be down the road, because some people are saying he might win it. I mean, there's so much football to go play. I don't think he's worried about it at all.
We'll stay in that center section on the right-hand aisle. Kylie?
Sarka, Ralph Russo from the Associated Press. I know you probably would have loved to have hit the ground running and won 12 games in year 1, but what changed over those 2 years building up to year 3? Why was year 3 so much different? Why did it click?
Well, I think part of it was our culture. We had to keep building our culture, the things that were important to us, right? And that takes time. It takes time to learn the schemes. You bring in coaches and you have an idea of what you want to run, and that's nothing against a previous staff, but maybe they didn't recruit the types of players that fit what we wanted to be and how we wanted to play. So that takes time too. There's development of players in your program. And so, hey, I'll tell you this much, 5-7 in Austin, Texas sucks. That was hard. That was hard on me. That was hard on players. That was hard on a lot of people. Okay, 8-5. Was a little more palatable for people, right? But as you continue to stay committed to who you are, and you stay committed to your course of action, you stay committed to what you believe in, over time you start to reap the benefits of that. With that comes sometimes you have to People that were supposed to be good players when you arrived maybe aren't playing as much, and maybe the guy that fit you a little bit better, you have to recognize and you have to play him a little bit more. But everybody earned their opportunity in our program over the past 3 years, and the beauty of it has been our players recognize that, and then now they know the process to go make it work. I was telling somebody earlier today about a story about the leaders on our team. You know, when we had Bijan Robinson and Roshan Johnson, everybody raved about their leadership ability, but we only had a couple of leaders. Last year, we raved about the leadership of about 5 or 6 guys, Jordan Whittingtons of the world, right? Byron Murphys of the world. This year, I could probably tell you I got 25 leaders because these guys have grown up in our program. They don't know any different than our culture. And so now when I don't even have to speak very long about what we believe in, because they live it every single day and I watch them live it every single day. And so that's the process, right? You're trying to develop leadership. Well, leadership takes time to develop. You just don't anoint a guy a leader if he doesn't believe in the core values of the organization.
Which we're going to go straight in the front of my section, about midway back.
Steve, Eric, Henry Horns, 24/7. Kind of piggybacking off of Kirk's question. Last year, you talked a lot about the versatility of the team and helping you win in games with JB gone and the receivers and JT. Just wondering, what do you see as the next kind of natural evolution for the offense?
Well, I think, you know, without telling Coach Norvell at Colorado State what we're going to do in week 1, you know, part of it is we always try to stay on the cutting edge. You know, I never want to get stale offensively. And I know what I said earlier, we're going to be who we are. But with that comes all of the subtle tweaks and things and formations and motions and personnel groupings and how do you group people the right way and to take advantage of it. Part of that is trying to play your best players. All right. Part of that is how do we tax the defense? And so we do have a very versatile offensive team. You know, the fact that, you know, we've got very versatile runners. We've got versatile tight ends. The addition of Amari Niblack has been great. Juan Davis, who I've been so impressed with coming out of spring ball and this summer. Gunnar Helm, we found out a lot about him when JT went down last year. We use an extra tackle at tight end some. So we try to do a lot of things to people to make them prepare for it. And then in game, what are we going to call that game that maybe they didn't practice quite as much, or, hey, they have a deficiency here, let's go attack that a little bit more. So I'm not trying to avoid the question, but sometimes it's we implement an offense and then we tap into different aspects of it from week to week that we think, you know, behoove us to be successful.
So we're going to go into the section to your right, just midway back. Olin.
Yeah. Olin Buchanan, Texas coach, you have the unique experience of having coached in the Iron Bowl and the Red River rivalry. Now, last month in Destin, your athletic director said the Texas-Oklahoma game was a bigger game, a bigger event than the Iron Bowl. So what is it about that game that makes it a bigger event than the Iron Bowl or other SEC rivalry games?
Well, I think this, and I've been fortunate. Like I said, I've been part of the Iron Bowl. I've been part of the Apple Cup in Washington. I've been part of SC, UCLA. I've been part of some great games. This is the most unique game for sure that I've ever been a part of. When you pull into the state fair and you start smelling those corn dogs and turkey legs and there's fans from both teams and then you get in those locker rooms and the locker rooms literally are 20 feet apart and you're staring at each team and one goes first, the next one goes next, and it can get a little contentious in there, but that's okay. And as we come out of that tunnel, and that's OU's tunnel, and we're staring at a sea of burnt orange, and you just want to get there. And it's a unique game because half of the game is a home game. The other half of the game is a road game. And I had to learn that the hard way in year 1. We got stuck in OU's end and we were false start and we couldn't do anything right. And so you have to play to that style of game, but it being split right down the 50, it's the who's who on the sidelines. And I'll tell you this about both teams. both teams play as hard as they possibly can play in that game. And again, that's to take nothing away from any other great game that I've been part of, but this one is uniquely special. I think Norman's about 2.5 hours from Dallas. We're about 3 hours from Dallas. And the fact that we kind of come upon the state fair here in Dallas is really special. And so it's a game that I'm humbled and honored that I get to be part of. I'm getting to go coach in my 4th one, and looking forward to the opportunity.
Coach, we're going to go over to the right side on this near aisle.
Sean, Jay Roger from CBS Sports. Coach, you mentioned rivalry games, of course. Since you've been here, what have you heard about the Texas A&M rivalry, and what kind of buzz is there for this game coming back?
Well, it's a great game. It's a game that, like I said, divides households, and one that, it's interesting. As our players, I listen to our players talk sometimes, and they're like, our players are probably way more excited for this game than most fans would probably think, because we haven't played the game in a while. But the majority of the players on our 2 rosters probably went on visits together at, if not one school, both schools. And one guy chose Texas and one guy chose A&M. And so I think there's a great deal of excitement. I know Coach Elko's done a great job in that program in a short time being there. It's going to be a great environment in Kyle Field Thanksgiving weekend. So we're definitely looking forward to it.
Okay, we have time for one more. We're going to go right here in front. Jenny.
Hey, Steve, Jenny Carlson with Beyond the Box Score. Obviously, what you guys have done in the last 3 years, building momentum, building belief, you wanted to do that anyway, but taking that into the SEC, on the list of intangibles, how important do you feel like that is for your program?
Well, it's critical. This is an elite conference, and it's going to take week in and week out work ethic, preparation, innovation, toughness, mental toughness, physical toughness, perseverance, mental fortitude. If you get knocked down, to get back up, like, it's going to take all the stuff we went through the last 3 years and put it in 1 year, because that's what this conference challenges you on. You're playing at an elite level week in and week out. And I think that's what those 3 years have to roll into this year. And that's my challenge as a coach, is to get our team in that frame of mind, but yet still enjoy the experience. There's nothing like playing college football. It's the greatest sport in the world. And I know we're going through all sorts of different changes right now, but the popularity and the excitement around college football right now is bigger and better than it's ever been. Okay. And so through all that stuff I just talked about, I want to make sure our players enjoy this. I mean, you think about it. I talked about 3 rivalry games in one season. How many schools get to say that? And so we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a great opportunity, and look forward to seeing y'all. And if you haven't been to the Red Rivalry game, you should come. It's an amazing game. Appreciate y'all. Hook 'em. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much.
For all our video listeners out there, that was Steve Sarkisian from the Texas Longhorns. So he got done with his first SEC Media Days podium conference. We're going to end this stream, but look forward to the Drive Live with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton later on.